to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
We do not need another Die Hard movie. Certainly not a prequel. Welcome to Dr. Loomis, and today we're looking at why I believe a Die Hard prequel would be a misstep in a long line of missteps made by the Die Hard franchise.
We can go anywhere you want us. You'll have no illusions. We are in charge.
Now, there is no getting around the fact that the Die Hard films are a bona fide billion-dollar franchise, that they've had a total cost altogether across 5 movies of $390 million, and their combined global gross is $1.5 billion. So this really is a big deal in terms of movie making. I can understand why the studio would want to put a prequel out there, but I can see straight from the get-go the problems that this type of feature would face.
Who is this?
You can call me Loomis.
What do you want?
I want to prevent the Die Hard prequel. Die Hard was made in 1988, itself an adaptation of the novel Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe. The film had a budget of $28 million and grossed $140 million worldwide. Its story of a vulnerable everyman hero facing overwhelming odds made an action star of Bruce Willis, who up until that point had been mostly associated with comedic roles. The film received positive reaction from critics and audiences alike, and has since become known as one of the greatest action films of all time. Die Hard does have action, but it also has a lot of heart. John McClane is certainly an engaging blue-collar hero, but the movie surrounds him with interesting side characters, from the wisecracking Argyle to the warm-hearted Sergeant Al Powell, the perpetually coked-up Ellis, or the honourable Mr. Takagi. And of course, the entire tone of the film is raised by the inclusion of Alan Rickman playing the charismatic villain Hans Gruber.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Now, the Die Hard of 1988 is a well-loved, well-regarded and well-reviewed film that receives a 92% score on Rotten Tomatoes. If we fast forward to 2013 and the release of Die Hard 5, also known as A Good Day to Die Hard, we see that that film was critically mauled upon its release and it receives a score of 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means that we now live in a universe where a film from the Die Hard canon is outranked by Tommy Wiseau's The Room, Dumb and Dumber 2, and Adam Sandler laugh-free ordeal, That's My Boy. Now, Die Hard has lost its way, but using a prequel to get it back on track is, I believe, a mistake. Anyone looking at a list of the prequels that have been released over the last 10 years will see that these movies consistently fall short of the mark. Still not convinced? Well, how about this? I'll list some of the prequels that have been released over the last 10 years, and you decide for yourself the calibre of film that is on display. We have Oz, the Great and Powerful, Exorcist, The Beginning, Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, The Revenge of the Sith, Prometheus, Tremors 4, The Legend Begins, Red Dragon, Hannibal Rising, Carlito's Way, Rise to Power, Dumb and Dumber, When Harry Met Lloyd, The Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas, From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter, Ginger Snaps Back, The Beginning, Underworld, Rise of the Lycans, Cruel Intentions 2, Smoking Aces 2, Assassin's Ball, Marley and Me, The Puppy Years, Vacancy 2, First Cut, Annabelle, and possibly the most embarrassing film ever made, X-Men Origins, Wolverine. Now, looking at the films on that list, some of those prequels are more than 10 years old. However, the point remains the same. Prequels are usually poorly received, the curse of the prequel. In fact, the only prequels I can think of that work would be The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and more recently the 2009 Star Trek Reboot, which probably only survives the curse of the prequel because of its alternate timeline story arc. Now, what would a die-hard prequel look like, and what obvious mistakes would the studio make? That's what we'll look at next.